From project-based learning to, the looming shadow of generative AI, the education world right now feels like trying to navigate a ship in a dense fog.
Mm-hmm.
Every week there's a new acronym, a new model, and new evidence that suggests the skills we valued yesterday are suddenly redundant today.
Yeah, the ground is definitely shifting under our feet.
It forces a core question for all of us, whether you're hiring for a corporation or just trying to structure a high school curriculum.
A big one.
Are we teaching the truly durable skills for the future, or are we just busy running interesting-sounding workshops?
Right.
So we took the research and articles you provided, a deep dive into these pedagogical debates and the seismic shifts in coding, and our mission is to cut through the static.
To clarify the conceptual mess.
Exactly, and extract the indispensable knowledge and skills you really need for tomorrow.
And that conceptual mess is precisely where we have to start. In education, when new trends emerge, clarity is often the first thing to go. Everyone rushes toward the activity that looks like learning, the fun part, the hands-on part. And they lose sight of the fundamental learning approach that actually builds deep, transferable skills.
So we have to distinguish between just being busy
And engaging in effective, targeted, deep learning. Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Uh-huh.
And I think we should start with one of the most popular concepts out there.
Yeah.
Effective project-based learning, or PBL.
Good place to start.
So PBL and its cousin, I guess, inquiry-based learning. They're fantastic concepts, but we see the same pitfall over and over again.
Which is?
They are so often misinterpreted as unguided discovery. This idea that learners can just wander into a complex project and spontaneously generate these deep transformative insights.
Right, the eureka moment without the groundwork. The research is very, very clear that this idea of pure, unguided discovery is missing a crucial ingredient.
Background knowledge.
Background knowledge. For PDL to be successful, that foundation isn't a bonus. It's the prerequisite. It absolutely has to be there.
And we can understand why through a couple of key psychological principles, right?
We can. First, just on a purely practical level, critical thinking and problem-solving skills. They only really improve when learners possess relevant, specific background knowledge.
Okay, so give me an example.
Sure. If you're running a PBL project on designing, say, a vertical farm, and you lack basic knowledge of botany or fluid dynamics, you don't even know what questions to ask.
You're just kind of lost.
You are. Knowing more about a topic is what equips you to identify the significant questions and make those essential distinctions that drive the learning forward.
And the sources dive even deeper into the brain science here with cognitive load theory. That's where this really solidifies, isn't it?
Absolutely. Cognitive load theory, or CLT, it's the fundamental science behind effective instruction. It reminds us that our working memory, the part of the brain processing new information right now, is tiny.
It has severe limitations.
Severe. Think of your working memory like a little sticky note. It's
Yep.
small. If a student is constantly trying to grasp foundational concepts, what is photosynthesis? How does a pulley work? While they are also trying to structure a complex project, they just overload that tiny sticky note.
So they might finish the project.
They might complete the activity, sure, but the deep conceptual learning, it won't stick. It won't transfer.
But if they have that knowledge already stored away,
In their long-term memory, yes, that vast library on the shelf. Then they can access those building blocks instantly without straining working memory. That's what allows a surface-level activity to become deep learning.
so the model that works best is, it's not go figure it out. It has to be a thoughtful blend.
Precisely. The research advocates for structured guidance and direct instruction that's integrated right into the PBL design.
So you need explicit teaching.
Explicit teaching, knowledge building, supported by inquiry exercises and collaboration. For example, a successful PBL unit on designing a windmill should probably start with 2 weeks of guided instruction on aerodynamics and gear ratios.
And if you skip that,
If you skip that, the project just devolves into trial and error guesswork. It's not knowledge application anymore.
that is the essential takeaway here then. Knowledge is necessary, but it is absolutely not sufficient. But if you omit that foundational knowledge building from your design, you make achieving that deeper learning, the whole point of PBL, much, much harder.
You're setting them up to fail.
Okay, let's transition now to the world of integrated curriculum models. This is where I think a lot of the confusion happens in schools and policy circles. It all started with STEM.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. forged in the U.S. back in the 90s.
Right.
And it's vital to recognize that STEM wasn't purely an academic idea. The source material really highlights its firm origins in government policy.
It was justified by, what, economic and military competitiveness.
Exactly. During the Cold War and post-Cold War eras, it was fundamentally about prioritizing technical careers seen as essential for national security and economic dominance.
But then along came STEAM.
Adding the A for arts and humanities. And this wasn't an accident. It emerged as a conscious philosophical response to that narrowing of the curriculum.
So it was intentional pushback.
Very intentional. Proponents of STEAM specifically wanted to broaden the scope and prevent the privileging of strictly technical areas. They argued that true innovation requires more than just technical skill.
And this is where the acronyms cause so much confusion for people. When we say STEAM, what are we actually defining?
It's a great question because we need to clarify the difference between three distinct concepts, all using the same 5 letters.
Right.
1, you have STEAM disciplines. That's just the list of the 5 areas. STEAM, simple.
Right.
2 is a STEAM activity or lesson. This means you're teaching at least 2 of those disciplines in an interdisciplinary way, like using a geometry lesson to solve an engineering problem.
And the third one?
Is STEAM education. And that's the overall educational approach, the big picture, promoting deep interdisciplinarity between all 5 disciplines over an entire academic career.
That distinction is so key for policymakers. And this is where the conflict heats up, right?
It is.
Critics warn that adding the arts weakens the coherence of the core technical areas, while STEAM proponents counter that weakening that narrow focus is. Well, it's exactly the point.
It is the point. And the value of the A isn't just decoration. Researchers point out that the arts introduce these essential competencies like active learning, social skills, cultural competency.
But the big one is divergent thinking.
The big one is divergent thinking, the ability to generate innovative, creative ideas by exploring a whole variety of possible, novel solutions. That is the engine of true disruptive innovation.
Okay, but I had to ask the critical question the sources bring up. Are the arts just being instrumentalized? Are they just being used to serve predefined STEM goals?
That tension is paramount. That's the whole challenge.
So the A isn't just subservient.
It shouldn't be. High-quality STEAM actively avoids that. It's not just drawing a colorful graph of your physics results. The arts must influence the engineering constraints and the scientific process itself.
And to make sure that happens, we have to understand how the subjects are interacting.
Exactly.
And that perspective, that shifts how I view the whole equation. We need to look at the spectrum of integration. Okay, I think here's where it gets really interesting.
Yes.
Integration isn't a single switch. It's a whole spectrum of interaction between disciplines.
That's right. And to talk about it accurately, we have to distinguish between these different disciplinary relations which get confused all the time.
Okay, lay them out for us.
First, you have multidisciplinarity. This is the simplest level. Disciplines contribute separately to a common theme, but they stay in their own silos.
Like the tiny house example from the reading.
Exactly. The English class writes the manual, the math class calculates the materials cost, the art class designs the paint scheme. They're cooperating, but the knowledge stays isolated.
Got it. What's next?
Second, and this is the key concept for true rigorous STEAM, is interdisciplinarity. This is when disciplines are integrated through dialogue and active intersections.
The borders are crossed.
The borders are momentarily crossed, and critically, the disciplines are strengthened by that contact. So with the tiny house, the math calculation of a load-bearing wall drives the aesthetic design of the windows.
So the math constrains and strengthens the art, and the art does the same for the math.
And vice versa. That's interdisciplinarity.
And the final level?
Finally, you have transdisciplinarity. This aims to transcend the boundaries entirely, to synthesize knowledge into a holistic whole. The focus is on a grand problem like global water scarcity without even discerning the individual disciplines.
It's trying to erase the boundaries.
Completely.
And what's so crucial here is that STEAM is fundamentally interdisciplinary. It's not transdisciplinary. It's grounded firmly in those 5 subjects.
Precisely. To be truly educational, STEAM requires explicit teaching and understanding of each individual discipline and its specific intersections. You can't achieve deep integration if the underlying disciplines are weak.
But that's so hard to implement. Teachers are always citing external pressures, standardized testing, no time for collaborative planning.
The list is long. And it's a real problem. High-quality STEAM demands professional development that gives teachers autonomy and flexibility. They need time to truly collaborate, to move beyond simple cooperation toward that genuine reciprocal dialogue.
Okay, let's shift gears entirely and look at the technological horizon, because the rapid pace of change in computing means we have to debate what we're teaching. Is it specific coding languages or something higher level,
Yeah.
especially with AI?
Uh-huh. And the core argument against focusing on specific coding techniques is that languages just come and go.
Right.
Python is the hot language today, but it will likely be obsolete or more accurately, entirely redundant for a human to use in less than a decade.
So what's the durable skill,
The durable skill, the thing that persists no matter the operating system, is computational thinking.
which involves what?
It involves skills like decomposition breaking problems, down pattern recognition, and developing logic and algorithms. It's about developing an intuition for how to structure problems for a computer to solve, not mastering the specific syntax of one language.
And one perspective in the sources makes this really provocative argument that AI won't just change the role of software engineers.
But that it will largely replace the need for them entirely.
Yeah. And this is driven by computational brute force.
Exactly. The analogy in the sources to modern gold mining is, I think, perfect.
Explain that.
Historically, gold mining required craft, precision. Now, massive, energy-intensive machines just process entire mountainsides. They use sheer scale and energy.
So the human craft of coding is being bypassed by AI's ability to just generate and test millions of solutions at once.
That's the argument. The human engineer today spends so much time on syntax, debugging, maintaining old code. AI just handles that mechanical grunt work through simulation and analysis. The job shifts completely.
And the sources point out that critics of AI replacement often rely on a couple of flawed assumptions.
They do.
The first one is the value fallacy. This idea that software engineering is some essential craft to be preserved when it's just a tool to create a product.
Right. And the second is the AI won't ever fallacy. Assuming that AI costs will stay high, or that future AIs will just be fancier large language models. And this neglects the fundamental truth that the AIs we have today are the worst ones you will ever see.
They're only going to get faster and cheaper.
Exponentially.
What's fascinating here is that AI's strength is its ability to simulate and analyze possibilities at a scale no human ever could.
It is.
So the shift for the human isn't about being obsolete. It's about shifting the focus of your work.
Exactly. When Google's AI designs chips, it explores configurations that human experts would never even attempt because of the time and complexity involved.
So the human job becomes what?
The human job shifts from coding line by line to high-level direction. You define the ambitious objectives, you establish the constraints, and most crucially, you verify the AI's output for correctness, safety, and bias.
So computational thinking becomes the essential management skill.
That's the whole ballgame.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this argument suggests that the true geopolitical battle of the future won't be fought over sophisticated code.
No. Because AI operates through massive, energy-intensive simulation, the battle will be fought over who controls the vast amounts of energy necessary to fuel that brute force.
The sources are pretty definitive on this, calling AI the new electricity.
I think that's right.
So what does this all mean? We've covered pedagogy, curriculum design, the future of computing. But there's a clear unified thread running through all of this.
There is.
For deep learning models like PBL to truly work, they have to start with a solid foundation of explicit knowledge. Otherwise, cognitive load just overwhelms the student. For integrated models like STEAM to succeed, they need a rigorous, interdisciplinary understanding of the distinct subjects, real dialogue, not just coexistence.
Yes.
And for future career skills, the focus has to move from rote coding to high-level logic and problem structuring to computational thinking.
In bringing that thread back down to the school level, effective professional development can't be a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
Teachers need support, they need collaboration, they need resources, but they also need the professional autonomy to adapt and integrate these concepts in a way that makes sense for their own unique classrooms.
Rigor has to be supported, not just imposed from the top down.
You've got it.
Okay, so given this intense and accelerating need for methodical logic and systematic problem solving across everything we've talked about, consider this final thought for your own exploration.
Okay.
Studies suggest that society would benefit immensely if formal logic classes were introduced and taught as early as grade school. It's arguably the ultimate durable skill that underpins every successful project, every integrated discipline, and every future interaction with artificial intelligence, something to mull over as you structure your own learning journey.